sitting here at an Amputee Coalition conference after some of the incredible accolades and world travels that you've had.
It's been wild.
Thinking back to, I think it was 2018, 19?
18.
Where I got a phone call from one of your fire partners.
Yep, Susan Allen.
And
CJ, I work with CJ.
Yep. And she said, I have a friend, and he's losing his leg, and he's got 4 kids, and it's just before Christmas, and I don't know what they need, but I think that you need to go.
Yeah.
And I came and found you at a rehab facility with all of your children and wife around, and you already amputated below the leg because you had an old knee replacement where the cement had sort of dripped behind and pushed on your artery, and you had no idea. You were throwing football out with your son, and all of a sudden your leg blew up, and who would have known that, like, your artery severed essentially.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you are this otherwise active full-time firefighter with 4 children just before the holiday. You're now a below-the-knee amputee. You have no idea about the medical system.
Right.
And this stranger shows up at your bed in rehab because they're telling you that they want to amputate your leg above the knee.
Yes.
Because they think that your below distal segment is dying.
Right.
And so that's what the plan is.
Right.
And here comes Tina into your room and lights a damn fire. I don't know what you remember in that time, but I remember touching your stump, your residual limb, and it was post-operative bruising. It was not a graft that had failed.
Right.
And I was horrified for what you were being told, the lack of direction that you and your family had, for the unnecessary trauma that you all were having to process. And we met there. Yep. And I had called a trauma surgeon at a different, higher level institution and demanded that if the people at your institution did not take care of you better, that we were going to transport you to better care.
Yep.
I mean, we really had to escalate stuff.
Yep.
What was it like having a stranger, an advocate that you'd never probably had to deal with before, come in and be with you in that way and come to the appointments with you? Like, just speak to that phase and that journey of your life.
Yeah, so, it was very scary for me, of course. I had lots of questions going through my mind. What my future held, how was I going to support my kids? Can I be a firefighter again on one leg? How can I even walk? All these crazy real life, questions going through my mind. At the same time, this doctor's telling me, well, they're gonna have to go above my knee and do another surgery. And I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand. And all of a sudden you show up, like you said, and you start explaining things to me, like, why are we going above the knee? And I was under some pain medication, so I don't remember everything. I have kind of these glimpses of memory and pictures. But I do remember you like pressing on my knee and saying, this isn't dead. Why are we going above the knee? And I didn't know any amputees before I became one, so I didn't really know this world that I just embarked in.
Right.
And so for you to come in that knew the system, knew the body, knew what was going on, for someone, even though I was in the medical field as a firefighter, paramedic, when it happens to you, I think sometimes you don't grasp the big picture. And so you need an advocate that can come in and say, hey, let's take a step back, let's look at this and look at it objectively. And I'm so grateful that you came into my life in that moment. Not only are you one of the smartest people that I know, but you're also amazing. And
Thanks,
I
didn't even pay him to say that.
But yeah, you were able to navigate, these waters that I didn't know that I was even in. And you saved my knee. You saved my knee, which means you saved my job, because ultimately, 10 months later,
In only 10 months, he returned back to full-time firefighting as an amputee. I mean, that is like mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was, and that's a whole other story. But, had my knee been gone, had they went above the knee, had you not entered that room in that moment, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. I guarantee you that.
I would be wearing that shirt.
I would not be wearing this shirt. I would not be a firefighter. There's so many things that I would not have done because of you specifically And as an advocate, you know, that could save other people's, you know, legs or lives even.
It's, I always think of you, and I always think of you. I still have the card that your family sent me of you in a wheelchair with you and your family and all of your kids. And I'm seeing all the incredible things that you're doing with the USA bobsled team and the volleyball, and now you're a published author of several children's books, and you're speaking all over the country, and you're the first ever amputee semifinalist in American Ninja Warrior. Like, isn't it like one of these things where, like, where am I going to wake up? Is this a dream?
Right.
Right?
It's very surreal.
It's very surreal. But what I want to share with everybody is, like, behind every successful, especially amputee, there was tough times.
Oh my gosh.
And there were so many heroes in the story. And I don't mean to highlight myself in this, but people need to be vulnerable enough to allow for people to help them.
Yes.
Because it can be the difference between the limb difference that makes you not able to work, not able to pursue your passions. And there's so many people that have a resistance to asking for help. Like, what would you say to those people?
Yeah, so, you know, pride kind of gets in the way. Like, I can do this, I don't need any help. A very good friend of mine, I remember right after my amputation, came in and said, because a lot of people were coming in, you know, 170 firefighters and friends and family. And
you had the best group, the best support. Right,
I couldn't ask for a better support system. And so people were coming in saying, what can we do, what can we do? And we've always been a self-supporting family, and we're like, nothing, we're good.
Always with the best meatballs and spaghetti. And
right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, my wife's awesome. She can take care of everything. My kids are self-sufficient. So we're like, no, we're good. And so finally, you know, he told me like 7 times, but he finally grabbed my head and was like, Gary, listen, you need people to help you. It's not for you. It's for them. This is a community. They want to support you. So by you allowing them to help you, it's actually helping them.
It's so funny. I had a similar experience when my husband had left after my amputation. I curled up in a ball in a room upstairs in the house that he had left, and I didn't eat for several weeks, and I didn't answer my phone, and I didn't let anybody in, and I didn't answer any calls because you don't want anyone to see you like that.
Right.
A best friend broke into my house, found me upstairs looking like Skeletor. I had lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And the first words she said to me were, "You're selfish."
Right?
And I was like, I went to go mount just what? You know, like a defense. And she said, you are in a critical time of need, and you are denying everyone that cares about you the joy that they will get in being able to provide for you in your time of need. And that is what we are all here for.
Absolutely. We
But
are
like,
in
what
this
a-
thing together. We need each other.
That's right.
And so as much as you are prideful and want to do things on your own and be strong, absolutely. I believe in that 100%. But it's not about you a lot of times, you know. It's about the community. It's about your family. It's about others.
And it's also about giving back, and you're doing some cool stuff.
I am doing some cool stuff. I'm excited.
What's on the horizon for you, Gare?
Well, honestly, I'm excited about my brand. You know, my AO, Adapt and Overcome. It's starting to grow some legs.
Pun intended. Someone's got to, because we don't have them.
Exactly. And so there's a couple businesses that are replacing some other fancier brand logos
Well
with
deserved.
the AO.
Nice.
And because it has it has meaning behind it,
That's
you
right.
know, and so it's real exciting to see where it's going. I feel like it's got some potential to maybe land in some sporting goods stores someday.
Nice.
So,
And your children, who were so horrified and so scared about what had happened to their father, the patriarch, the provider, the caregiver, now are looking at you like you're fucking Superman. The example that you are setting, not only for your community and for your colleagues, but for the children that you've raised. I mean, it makes me emotional.
I know, and I don't want to be, not to brag at all, but when this happened to me, you know, or anyone with an amputation, you can kind of go either way. You know, you can go to the negative side, which is really easy, and woe is me, why did this happen to me? Which I was down that road for a while. Yeah. But you have to get yourself out of it, you know, and so that's what I did, and started thinking positively. And once I started changing my mindset of like, okay, how do I get through this? How do I get over this? How do I move forward? It started to change from why did this happen to me to why did this happen for me? And that kind of you know, broke something inside of me that was bigger than me. And since then, I've been on this mission to show my kids that no matter what happens to you in life, you can get through it. You can make something really positive out of it. And I've seen my kids thriving now. And I think about where they would be right now had I chosen to go negative and not take this and make the best of it.
Your adversity has now become not only their advantage, but the advantage of everybody that knows you, because you are a living example that you don't need 10 toes to make a mark in this world. I'm so honored to be your friend, and I'm so humbled to have been trusted in your medical journey, and I'm just so proud. It's like I'm so emotional. I'm so proud every time I see you of the things that you're doing, and I'm always gonna be a supporter of you, and I'm so grateful that I was there with you.
Oh my gosh, I'm more grateful that you were there, Tina. I love you.
I love you.
Ugh. Ugh.